Philippine news, liquor ban, elections coming up, and holiday. Monday will be a holiday, so government offices, banks, etc. Many businesses also will be closed, so let's get into it. First story from Phil Starr, Nation. Money ban, it's election. Monday, May 11th is election. No, May 12th. Monday, May 12th in the Philippines is election day. Money ban starts in Western Visayas ahead of 2025 polls. Could be countrywide, I'm not sure. What does that mean? You can't use money on that day? No, that's not what it means. We'll get into the story a little bit. But yeah, it's election number one, Monday on May 12th. So pretty much all of your stores are going to be a lot of your stores will be closed, and banks, government offices will be closed. Police checkpoints have been tightened across Western Visayas as Commission on Elections, which is COMELEC, enforces a 3-day money ban Saturday, May 10th, before the 2025 midterm elections. And yeah, it's about buying votes with money. And I've heard a number of people talk about their, you want something common. They've been trying to stop it for years and years and years, but politicians will hand out money to citizens in their barangay, in their province, hoping for their votes. The amount varies. I've heard anything from 50 to 100 to 1,000 to 3,000, and just really depends upon the area, how rich the politicians are. I guess not all of them do it, but some do. Anyway, the new rule prohibits anyone from carrying more than 500,000 pesos in cash along with campaign materials, as this may be considered vote buying. Yeah, do you think? Which is a serious election offense, even without proof of actual distribution. Exceptions are allowed for those whose job requiring handling large sums, like cashiers or treasurers, but they must show proof of employment. You know, a lot of these companies pay their payroll in cash, and there's a number of robberies over the years because they send somebody to the bank to get all this money. And I've been in banks where people come in and yeah, they they get a big bag of money and carry it out, jump on them on the back of a motorbike, and then they are robbed, shot, killed, robbed. Uh, Happens, I don't know, at least a couple times a year. That makes the news anyway. Over 33,000 COMELEC checkpoints have been conducted in the region since January. While officers can only do visual checks, they are trained to spot suspicious behavior. In past elections, several individuals were caught at checkpoints with boxes of cash-filled envelopes. Next story, also from Phil Starr. 2 die in poll watchers orientation stampede. Zamboanga City, down in Mindanao. 2 people died while 14 others were injured in a stampede that occurred during orientation and distribution of food and transportation allowance of poll watchers in this city on Friday night. Hate to hear that sort of thing. Local office of COMELEC ordered the city police to investigate. That left one man, 65, and lady, Norma, I think 80 dead. 14 others were reported treated for injuries they suffered during the incident. Boy, I hate crowds. I've been in a number of crowds during the Sinulog Festival here in the Philippines, and it's the first time. I always wondered, how do people get killed? You'll read about various events around the world where dozens of people get killed, and how does that happen? Boy, I got into a crushing crowd, I think like 2 different times, and I learned my lesson. Tried to stay away from, and yeah, you can't move. People pushing and shoving from every direction, and yeah, boy, now I understand how people die. COMELEC received reports that vote buying occurred during the event. Investigation showed the victim suffered difficulty in breathing and collapsed when the crowd went out of control. The event was reportedly organized by supporters of incumbent Mayor John Delipe, whose father is seeking the mayoral post in the May 12 elections. Former congressman said the event was intended for vote buying. That's why it drew a large number of people. What happened was a mockery of the election process. Why were there too many people if the event was intended only for orientation and distribution of food and transportation allowance of poll watchers? Good question. And yeah, word got out that they were giving away cash. Maybe, I'm not sure. What was supposed to be a well planned, orderly activity went wrong when thousands of people unexpectedly showed up at the venue, which can only hold a limited number of participants. Understanding, this is from the Sun Star, and understanding political dynasty in the Philippines. You know, we've got a little bit of that in the U.S. The Clintons and the Bushes. The Bushes tried to have an ongoing dynasty. There were a number of different. We had two that became president, and there was another one or two that wanted to be president as well. Anyway, I'll do another longer video about dynasties here in the Philippines, where families kind of control areas. But it is one of the things about they establish in the Philippines, political dynasties operate much like established brands, well-known family names passed down from one generation to the next that command loyalty, wield influence, and maintain political dominance. And yeah, it's one of the reasons why you have violence around election time in the Philippines, because those families control an area, have for a long time, and a newcomer comes in and tries to take over that area, and it's almost like you could describe it somewhat as a gang type war for territory. If you own political office, it often comes with many benefits, monetary and other benefits. Much like in the U.S., there are how many representatives and senators in the U.S. after they get into office become quite wealthy rather quickly, and happens all over the world. Next story also from Sun Star. AFP slams Chinese vessels aggressive maneuver in the Bajo de Masinaloc, and there is the Chinese vessel spraying water. Let's see, is this the Chinese vessel? Yeah, this was the Chinese vessel, I think. Spraying water, big water cannon, spraying water, and it's a tactic they've used many times especially over the last year or two. Harass the Coast Guard vessel bombards, Chinese Coast Guard vessel bombards the Philippine ship with a water cannon while the latter was on a routine maritime patrol in the vicinity of Bajo de Masinaloc on Wednesday morning, December 4th. Oh, this is a while back. I'm not sure why this feed came up, but it's happened a number of times. And I'll do an extra video about the West Philippine Sea and this issue of whose territory it is in another video. Next story, Sunstar also, DOTR eyes private partner to complete CBR, which is Cebu Bus Rapid Transit Project. And this is what they've taken about, 3 or more lanes out of the center of Osmeña Boulevard. And they're going to do it on other streets and avenues as well. But they're building this bus lane, buses only lane, that'll come in here and pick up and drop off passengers who will then enter or exit and then try to cross traffic. I walked down there the other day and it was under construction, and they said, no, you can't be here. So I left the area, but nobody could tell me when it was expected to be completed, and it's long delayed, many years delayed already. And anyway, they're looking for public-private partnership to ensure the completion of the long-stalled Cebu bus rapid transit project. And what happens with so many projects here? They get stalled for no number of reasons. They don't have the proper permits. They haven't planned ahead the logistics. And I've been involved in logistics over the years, and one thing you want to do is make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, so to speak, before you start a project. Make sure materials are going to show up on time. Workmen, construction workers, are going to show up on time, and you have all the proper permits to go forward, and you have the money to do it. Back to the Phil Star. Smuggled onions test positive for salmonella. And, I buy a lot of our fruits and vegetables from the public markets. But any place in the world, salmonella can be on lettuce is a big one. You'll get salmonella poisoning in some restaurants in the U.S. around the world, and it's one of those risks we get. But here in the Philippines, you get a lot of smuggling going on. Cigarettes almost every week. They find people millions of pesos worth of smuggled cigarettes. Sometimes been smuggled rice. It's been smuggled different vegetables, smuggled meats of some sorts. With so many islands, it's hard to police where they're coming in from, all the various ports. Anyway, Department of Agriculture has warned consumers against buying imported white onions after a shipment of smuggled bulbs tested positive for salmonella and heavy metals. Definitely don't want either one of those. And fortunately, they found them. They were placed in 2 shipping containers, and they were listed as something else, no doubt. Reportedly came from China, arrived at the port of Subic, and the shipment was transferred to a warehouse, very common. Take it off the ship, ship it to a warehouse, and wait for somebody to come and claim it. The shipment was misdeclared as processed chicken Karaaj and consigned to Lakesay B Specialized Goods Trading based in Manila. The onions were subjected to laboratory analysis, tested positive for salmonella and heavy metals. Once about every 2 months, I try to clean my system. I take activated charcoal. And now I have a bag of activated charcoal, small bag I bought online. It's much cheaper than buying the capsules. You can buy capsules, activated charcoal. They help clean out your system of heavy metals, other contaminants. The bad thing is that they can also rid you of some of the good nutrients that you have in your system. And what I do, I don't eat anything 2 to 3 hours before I take the activated charcoal, and I don't eat for about 2 to 3 hours after I take that. I take at least 1 large glass of water with it, and maybe additional water over the next course of 2 to 3 hours, and hopefully that is helping to cleanse the heavy metals, because you get some. You eat certain types of fish, and you get heavy metals, and you don't know what you're getting with contaminations. You eat various things, pesticides, and who knows what else you eat in your food. Next story: man and son nabbed for guns and explosives, from the Phil Star. And fortunately, in the last month, I don't remember reading anything about any foreigners getting killed. That's always good, or getting in trouble in various types of ways. So anyway, let's go down here. Most crime is Filipino on Filipino. Bacolod City, more and more popular with expats. Man and his son were arrested in a raid that resulted in the seizure of several firearms and explosives. Victoria City, Negros Occidental. I believe that is just north of Bacolod, I think. The raid on the house of the suspects Ricardo and his son, Marvin, were based on a warrant issued by a judge. Authorities said the raiding team, composed of members of Victoria's police and Special Action Force troopers, seized a shotgun, a grenade, 3 handguns, ammunition, and a grenade launcher from the house of the suspects. During the raid, which was conducted around 5:30 a.m., the younger Pedroso arrived at the scene allegedly armed with a revolver, prompting the police to arrest him. But one does wonder why they would have a stash of grenades and explosives. Now I know in the U.S., like farmers, various people, landowners will use explosives to blow up tree trunks and perhaps rocks, different things where they want to clear some land. And next story, Sun Star, nearly $500 million pesos seized at the airport. Wow. My girlfriend brought this to my attention last night. Could we have just a little bit of that? Wow, wow, wow. 9 foreigners and 2 Filipinos have been arrested by the Aviation Security Unit at Mactan Cebu International Airport after attempting to smuggle nearly $500 million pesos at the airport. Wow, and got caught. 9 individuals were set to depart for Manila at around 9 p.m. on Friday when General Aviation Police at the airport intercepted 7 suitcases filled with 1,000 peso bills as they passed through X-ray machine. They were supposed to board a private airplane they had chartered. No other details available as of press time regarding the group's Filipino companions. Said the arrested foreigners were Chinese and Malaysian nationals who now remain in custody of airport authorities. Very possibly involved in POGOs, Philippine offshore gaming operations, which have been banned as of the end of December 2024 here in the Philippines, and of those legal ones who actually shut down and departed the Philippines, there are thousands or tens of thousands of individuals stayed here and are operating clandestinely. Torres said the 9 individuals were accused of violating Commission on Elections resolution, which includes a provision that clarifies the possession of large sums of money as potential money laundering. No doubt. An initial investigation indicated the money came from the group's casino winnings after several days of gambling in a well-known casino in Cebu City. Yeah, authorities are investigating the potential involvement of Philippine offshore gaming operations in the smuggling operation. Next story from Sunstar, VAT, value-added tax on digital services, draws mixed reaction. Yeah, it's a new tax. Similar to what they call sales tax in many states in the USA. And much of Europe has a VAT tax as well, up and above on many items. Anyway, the impending implementation of a 12% value-added tax on foreign digital service providers in the Philippines has sparked varied reactions. And that could be like your cable television setups. Yeah, I'm not sure about cable television, but will be imposed on digital services, including media, music, video on demand, and advertising provided by foreign companies, including such online search engines, online marketplace or e-marketplace cloud service, online media and advertising, online platforms, or digital goods. Doesn't really tell me what that would all include. Next story, strict liquor ban takes effect May 11th and 12th for the election. And only establishments accredited by the Department of Tourism may qualify for exemption from the nationwide liquor ban during May 2025 national and local elections. If you, I think basically if you Well, local residents are not allowed to drink even in exempted establishments. So if you're Filipino, I think exempted establishments are those if they cater to foreigners and tourists, and they generally serve liquor along with if a restaurant that serves liquor, that type of thing. They're allowed to serve the tourists and the expats. Regular bar would not be able to. And at the same time, the resolution covers all individuals and business establishments, including hotels, resorts, restaurants, and bars, aims to prevent alcohol-fueled disturbances that could disrupt voting procedures. From the Philippine News Agency government-sponsored site, travelers may use international cards and RCBC mobile ATM starting July. Not quite sure what mobile ATMs mean, but anyway, yeah, there are a lot of ATMs that do not take international cards. So, especially if you're on smaller islands, I think I was on Surigao, and I was told there's one bank, one ATM machine at one bank that takes international cards. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it works, but it's out of money. And anyway, my tricycle driver took me there, and fortunately it worked because I was having to use more cash than I had planned on. I thought I was going to be able to use my credit card some places on my several day trip a couple of years ago. And anyway, RCBC is a bank here, Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, but they've got many branches around the Philippines. Mobile automated teller machine. I'm not sure what that is. Allows cash withdrawals, deposits, transfers through merchants, majority of which are sari retail stores in far-flung areas where regular ATMs are often hard to find. So, yeah, it's not, you may or may not come upon it unless you're on one of those smaller islands. But your bank also has to be a partner in one of the networking sites, whether it's Visa or Plus, or there are a number of different networks that different banks belong to. And I've tried to use mine at a couple of different banks over the years, and not part of the. Even the other day, I tried to use it at a machine that was part of my bank's network, and unable to provide money at this time. So I don't know if they were out or what the deal was. They weren't online, maybe. Last but not least, PRA, the Philippine Retirement Authority, woos foreigners from Europe, North America to retire in the Philippines. And yeah, the retirement visa here is really a great opportunity. And if you're retired or honorably discharged from military, primarily from the U.S., but they may allow some other allied countries also to participate in that. JRC Visa Consultancy, I've done a number of interviews with him. He said that he has seen other military be able to get involved in that, and they, if you can, especially U.S. military, you can take part in that by with only a deposit of 1,500 equivalent U.S. dollars deposit, and I think there's a fee of 1,400 or 1,500 as well, so it brings you up around 3,000. And JRC has helped many guys retired military to attain that. And yeah, anyway, Philippines targets to increase the issuance of Special Resident Retirees Visa (SRRV) by 4,000 this year, targeting to attract nationals from Europe, United States, and Canada. SRRV is a non-immigrant visa that allows multiple entry and indefinite stay in the Philippines to qualified foreigners age 50 and above. Now, if you're not military, but if you're over age 50, I think your deposit is 10,000, equivalent to 10,000 US dollars. If you're under 50, I'm not sure. No, if you're, I don't think they give it to you under 50 anymore. there was a lot of Chinese were coming in under that, and then working, I think, and under 50 young. And anyway, but if you can prove that you have a regular pension or money coming in over, I think it's 800 US dollars a month, then you only have to deposit 10,000. If you can't prove that you have at least that much coming in, then it's 20,000. Our target now is really more Europeans and more from North America, both the US and Canada. He said in a phone interview on Friday, drawing comparison to the growing number of European and American retirees in neighboring Thailand. Yeah, it's competition. You know, the Philippines before the pandemic was getting about 9 million foreign tourists here. Thailand gets about 4 times that, 40 million. So, the Philippines needs to up its infrastructure substantially. But anyway, based on latest PRA data, some 3,812 foreigners enrolled for an SRRV last year, up from 3,108 recorded in 2023. Chinese nationals are still the top SRRV applicants, making up 40% of the total. Wow. Followed by USA citizens, Indians, Koreans. Yeah, and here's what I was stating. Senate last year raised alarm over POGO workers who were discovered staying in the country using SRRVs. And Filipino hospitality is a top consideration for most of these retirees when asked why they decide to choose Philippines as a retirement destination instead of other Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia. The number one reason is always, I like the way Filipinos take care of old people. Of course, the hospitality of the Filipinos, the English communication, lower cost of living, and then easy access to nature. It also partnered with about 400 hotels, restaurants, resorts, and wellness centers to provide these foreign retirees a special discount, given that they are not entitled to the 20% discount privileges of retired Filipino citizens. Hey, that's cool. I didn't know about that. So the SRRV gives you discounts at a number of places, restaurants, hotels, resorts. I'm sure if you apply, then they give you a list of those. Anyway, that's the news for today. Mother's Day today, taking my girlfriend out. She has a couple older kids. And happy Mother's Day to all of you out there around the world, and we'll see you in the next video.